Welcome back, Dave Gardner here, ready to go through the send broadcast function of the Now Lifestyle and SendShark autoresponders. Now again, as a reminder, this is your separate independent autoresponder that if you're in the Now Lifestyle system is totally different from the lead capture system. These are messages you're sending out to your leads that have opted into your page on a live basis. Now, totally different from the follow-up messages, which are the automated series that you created previously. Now, if you have not created at least one follow-up in your campaign or all of your campaigns, make sure you do that. Go back and follow those two videos right here and follow up and add follow-up, because you really want to make sure that as soon as someone opts in, they're at least getting one automated message that at least introduces yourself and possibly has a link to, the item that you promised them, or, where you want them to go to join the Facebook group, or, come sign up and create a free account, so on and so forth. So it is relatively simple. It's pretty much as easy as doing an email, and a lot of the information and details, I'm not going to go as in depth in this video, but a lot of the same details were in the follow-up video as far as using the functionality. Okay, it's basically the same exact layout that we observed in the other one, and we have the same box to send that email. So I'll go through a couple things quick. One of the key things you want to do and need to do is choose the campaign that you want to add the email to. Now, if I had created 10 campaigns, I would see 10 names here, and I can either select them all and they jump over the other side, or I can remove them all and come back. Or if I just want the dog training list, I have the dog training list right there, and if later I want to click on it, I can do that as well. So I can click on them and they'll jump back and forth, but you want to make sure that you have a list chosen at that point, because otherwise the email will not go to anything. If you actually try to send your email, so we'll click this back over here and I'll just show you what will happen here. It will not let you send the email unless you choose a campaign. It will also not let you send an email if you haven't chosen a subject. So you can actually choose the time you want it to send. Now I usually just let them send whenever I'm doing my emails, but if you are, let's say, at work during the day, or you want it to go out at a later time at night and you don't want it to go right away, you can actually change the time. I can choose a date. Maybe I am going on vacation and I want to set up a series of emails, 4, 5, 6 emails. I can set a date in advance and a time that I want that email to go out. So for example, let's set it for the 13th. Today's the 11th, set it for the 13th. And at such and such a time, it will register that, and it will tell you what the current time is in the system. Okay, this is based on the system where the database is in Texas. I can go through and I can set up my email. So are you super, or let's say you are super, because we really think our leads are great people, right? And we're starting to develop a relationship with them. So the more you communicate with them, the better off they're going to receive you. And so you're going to do your message. So here's your message, right? Message content is here. And again, just like using Microsoft Word or some other Word document software, there's a lot of functionality. I can, make it bold or italics, or I can underline it. I can do strike throughs. I can, change the justification if I want it left or centered. I can make it highlighted, for example. I can turn it into a large heading. I can do some other content here, welcome to the club. And I could possibly change the colors of that, for example. And we want to change the text to green. We want to make it pop out, and we're going to put a little background color in there. And, maybe it's not as appealing to the eye. Figure out what works for you, but I'm just showing you the functionalities. We could go through and let's say, okay, I don't like that. I want to get rid of it. I can just cut it. And let's say, oh, I cut the wrong thing. I can just go back and do the undo button, and it will be back there for us. So again, very similar to things like Microsoft Office, Microsoft Word. If I want to create a list, we could go through, let's say we're doing, we're welcoming new members, and or recognizing people that have made some great strides. So we got Bob, we got Tom, we got Steph. And so those people have joined the team, and so we could recognize them either with bullets or numbers. And so if you have a numbered list, you can do that as well. A lot of cool functions here. Just play around with them. You don't have to use them all. And you will find that some of them are going to be things you will use more frequently than others. What I've started to do a little bit more, when you sign off your message, we can add pictures. And so there's two easy ways you can add pictures. You can either go grab a link. So Here's a link and a picture of me, for example, over the summer. You can paste that in there, and you don't necessarily have to have an item description. You can, you can say who it is, Dave at the beach. And what happens, it automatically populates the size. Now that size is very big. And so what we want to do, we can actually go back in and make sure it's highlighted. I can go back in, click that link again, and I can shrink the image just by highlighting and changing the number. Once I click outside that box, it's going to change and automate that so it is the same proportion. So that shrinks it up, makes it a little bit nicer to look at. What I can also do is, assuming that's still highlighted, I can actually link the picture. I can send it to, if they were to click on that link, I could send them to my Facebook page or somewhere else. But what we typically would do something like this, we would link some content, and I want to link there. So, what we would have, for example, http:// and then, whatever your website.com is, welcome to the club. And again, you don't necessarily have to have titles. You don't have to have the target because it's through an email. It will automatically link there. And it will change that. Notice it underlined it. So that might be a little confusing because I already had the colors as well. But your typical link would be, if we just wrote it like this. Let's see, we don't want to do the colors there. Let's say we do a PS, come grab your report. Let's say, grab your report here. And we do the same thing. We'll see our typical link. So again, we're going to go up there, edit link. We're going to go into http:// let's see, your report.com or your website, whatever it is. And we're going to click OK. And then you have your typical link. And we want to remove this one. What we can do, the functionality up there, there's the remove link. We can remove that link and notice that underline disappeared. Now, if you were a little bit more tech savvy and maybe you've had a little more experience, you can work with the source code and the box will pop up. So for example, if you're using templates or other things that you want to pull in and you're copying and pasting from another program or another software, you can just pull in the HTML code and then it will paste it right away. So we're going to cancel that. Again, just showing you some of the functionality. If I highlight the whole thing, I'm going to do Control A and highlight everything here. If I click this button, clear formatting, we'll notice things will shift over, colors will disappear, links will disappear. And notice, actually it kept the link, sorry, I apologize for that, but notice my colors disappeared and I can clear some of the formatting that was put in there. So if I made a mistake again, I can always go back and undo that and then notice the color came back. So once I have done and created that and I'm happy where it is, notice I didn't select this yet. If I go and click add, it's going to give me a warning. And notice, it brought me back to the top because I have to choose one of those. I have to choose at least one campaign, but you can choose as many as you want. So if we choose, let's say we're going to send this out to the dog training list, we're sending them our, the free report. Once we click add, it's going to bring us back to what we saw in the broadcast video. And it's a crucial step that you must follow. There's this plus button here that queues the message up and that will actually send it out. Now, right now it hasn't been sent to anybody, and we'll also see other emails that we've sent out over the past, days, weeks, months, however long you've been a member. And so if you realize you made a mistake, you can go back and you can click this. It looks like a little pen. You can edit your message. I can test the message, which is recommended if you want to make sure that your links are working correctly and that it's delivered to your inbox. You can test it. Or if you make a mistake and you want to, delete the whole thing, you can actually delete it. But the key thing you have to do is this button right here. It's one of the most crucial things that we hear people make mistakes on. They claim that they did an email, but then they realize that, okay, maybe if they have a test account and they opted into their own, that it never made it to their own inbox. Or maybe they have a friend that is on their list and they say, oh, I never got your emails. It's because they forgot to click this. So always going back and checking your pending broadcast to make sure there's something pending is a crucial aspect. So we're going to click that button and we're going to notice that this is going to change and it's going to be down still in pending because it takes a while for the system to send them out. And what we notice is that there's a stop function. So if you realize, okay, you made a mistake or something else popped in, you want to edit it again, you can go through and stop that and then resend it. It'll actually bring it down to the sent broadcast. And so again, super easy to use. Once you start to get the hang of it, it becomes just like sending emails. And always, again, make sure you check that button that puts it in the queue. That's one of the biggest things that we want to stress. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you want to go a little more in depth, do the follow-up video. And as always, if you have questions or comments, you can hit us up in the Facebook group. make sure you leave something that is a little more appropriate. Don't just say I'm lost. Actually tell us maybe what you are looking at, maybe what section of the program or platform you're in, and maybe what you've done so far, and maybe the negative experience, or maybe some of the parts that haven't been working correctly that you see that you need help with. So the more we can understand, the easier it is for us to help you and maybe create a little video for that. You can always click the support button at top as well if you have questions. Again, Dave Gardner, keep taking action, keep writing those emails. Take care.